What's up, guys? It's Flash back with some more charts and another video. Today is Tuesday, May 21, 11:05 a.m. Eastern. Today, I want to walk through kind of a different look and feel of, I guess, a new perspective for some of these uranium stocks. And so the idea is if we look at, you guys know I love my ratios, right? I love looking at how specifically URA is performing against the S&P 500, which is this middle red bar. How URA is performing against gold, which is this green bar. You know that I want to be outperforming both the S&P and gold in a bull market because that will attract capital flows from investors, hedge funds, etc. And so in addition to that, I usually like to track how URA or any of these tickers are performing against the broader uranium market. I want to see which stock is going to be the best performer or which looks like it could be the best performer over the coming 5, 10, 15 years, right? And so I've kind of changed my tone on this, and that is because I've now changed this ratio to compare to CCJ, Cameco. And so, for example, if we pull up URA measured in CCJ, we see just a huge downtrend, right? More or less. And so URA is not performing as well as CCJ. So in other words, if I pull up CCJ's chart, CCJ is a complete flat line against itself, right? It's because it's one for one. And so that tells me that CCJ is outperforming the broader uranium index, right? That's a given. And it's kind of, it's obvious in the chart. I don't want to say obvious, but you can kind of see that CCJ is doing better than URA, if we were to measure it, percentage moves, et cetera, et cetera. So that brings me to say, instead of measuring these uranium stocks against URA, I now want to measure them against CCJ. We want to be outperforming, or try to be outperforming, CCJ. Otherwise, why are we even investing in other tickers other than CCJ, right? If CCJ is going to be the best performer, that's ideally where the money should be. Again, not financial advice, guys. Do your own research, but I'd like to go through a handful of these, and I'll show you guys strictly how they are performing against CCJ. So for example, URA, huge downtrend against CCJ. CCJ, flat line. Okay, now let's look at Bannerman, because Bannerman I've been considering a huge leader of this entire bull market so far. And you can see there is a down sloping trend line that ideally Bannerman breaks out of if we're invested in Bannerman, for example, to outperform CCJ. Like I said, we want to be in the leaders in this market. And so we can even try to maybe throw a bull on this and see how that lines up. It does line up pretty good. Change the color on this. Don't know why it's blue, but that's okay. So more or less, this could be a guideline for Bannerman. So I would say Bannerman looks pretty good. Now, if we click into Boss Energy, how is Boss Energy performing against CCJ? And Boss Energy has been outperforming CCJ for a long time. And, this is a rising wedge, so we'll see if this is bullish or bearish, but I would expect Boss Energy to continue its outperformance. I mean, we've kind of found this parabola for Boss Energy, and it looks really, really good. And so, again, this is kind of like a big cup. Maybe this was the handle right in here. Could maybe just throw that on there. But I think we're going to continue up this arc. I mean, it looks like it's trying to so far. But Boss Energy definitely has my eyes. Like, again, why do we want to be in any of these other stocks if we're not outperforming the leader of the pack, that is CCJ? So Boss Energy arguably is the leader of the pack. We can also look at Paladin measured in CCJ. This one has a nice rounded bottom, it looks like, and we could, again, on Paladin's chart, it looks super explosive. This one could be an outperformer in the future as well. So Paladin looks great. Now, Encore Energy looks like it's been in an uptrend against CCJ, but ever since November of 2021, it has been underperforming CCJ, and so we want these lines to hold, generally speaking, for Encore Energy to continue to be a leader in the space. I think it could still be a leader, but it's not going to be the leader or the top 1, 2, or 3 leaders, if that makes sense. So we're going to keep an eye on this trend line, at least for Encore, and see if we can remain in the lead, so to speak. Over to FSY. Again, you kind of have this rounded shape similar to its price chart, right? Rounded bottom, maybe a double bottom here, breakout, bullish consolidation / retest. It looks like we're going to go higher. And similarly, when measured in CCJ, I would say that's relatively the same. We're still kind of basing out against CCJ, but we're above the 3-year moving average here. We could start to curl up and see if we'll outperform. UEC. So UEC's just been pretty much going sideways against CCJ, ever since back here in 06. So, that means UEC's been a leader of the pack alongside CCJ. And I would say it looks like it's set to remain there. We'll kind of follow along and see if it breaks out or breaks down. But all that being said, CCJ and UEC are relatively going to be performing the same over the next however long this wedge holds up for. Next gen. This looks like a pull, bullish consolidation into a flag, and maybe there's going to be a pull that comes after. So next gen could continue to outperform. I will say this does kind of look a little bit toppy. Lower high. We'll see if this is going to be a lower high. Just kind of looks that way. I'm not saying it's going to break down, but we're going to find out. And we could probably draw this a couple different ways. I kind of just did this pretty quick to prove a point. But next gen is consolidating against CCJ. Denison Mines, DNN. Again, we've just pretty much gone sideways for a long time, and we'll see what direction this wants to head in. But for the most part, it's just a consolidation. ISO. Again, outperformance, and then now a downtrend against CCJ. We'll see if we can break out. ISO, it looks okay. This looks like it could be a bull flag of some sort. Not 100% sure yet. I still got to kind of think through on these. I've added AGE, Alligator Energy, to the mix per request, and it's also one that I've kind of had my eye on, just never really fully tracked, but love the look and feel of Alligator Energy. Also love the name, Alligator. And so we can kind of review this stock as a whole right now. We're not stretched past the 3-year moving average. We have a lot of room to run. Looks like we're bull flagging against the S&P 500, bull flagging against gold, and potentially bull flagging against CCJ as well. But this looks like it could be some sort of basing out pattern. We really want to break out of here and make a run up towards this line. But AGE looks good. I may add it to, I'm not sure if it could be a leader, honestly. It's in the middle of the pack right now. All right, we'll go to Lotus. So look at Lotus. Lotus is pretty clear downtrend against CCJ, but trying to bump our heads up against this wall and maybe break out. Looks super steady, clear uptrend in Lotus, and breaking out against S&P 500. Already broke out versus gold. So Lotus looks really good, and it could look like it's going to start outperforming CCJ. We're going to give a green star to Lotus. If I can find the green one. Okay. All right, Centris. Centris, huge downtrend against CCJ. Mega downtrend. So we'll see if we can pop our heads up, but it doesn't look great, I'll say. Kind of rolling over here with Centris. Although it looks like on the stock chart there's a ton of upside. All right, over to Elevate. Elevate, just, I don't know, ugly look against CCJ. We could maybe say this is starting to round out a little bit. Got to keep our eye on this right here, which we'll do. So we'll see, but Elevate in general, I'd rather be in CCJ this entire time. Sky Harbor, similar story. Got to break out of this downtrend line, otherwise we should just be in CCJ. Laramide, this could be a double bottom here. Downtrend, bottom, bottom. This could be forming a base. There is a potential bull here. We'll keep our eye on it. Mega, got to break out. Otherwise, we should be in CCJ. Deep yellow. Okay, deep yellow, saying something nice. Kind of, it looks like it wants to go up against CCJ. We'll give that a green star too. Energy fuels. Oh, ugly. Super ugly. GLO. Yeah, I mean, gross looking chart. You'd rather be in CCJ. And I don't want to like, if anyone loves these stocks, I'm not to say don't invest in them, but I'm just pointing out a ratio here that I think is worthwhile to keep the eye on. Western uranium, similar look and feel to the other ones, S&P and gold, could start to break out against CCJ. We'll keep our eye on it. UROY is kind of like, this could be, if this breaks out, UROY could be a great performer. Fission, or no, not fission, F3. Sorry about that. Looks like we could be little bull flag right here before we break out. I like F3. Cap's interesting. We can probably throw this line on. We'll keep our eye on it. Can Alaska. Another one with the downtrend line. Keep our eye on it. And then the laggards just aren't going to look good. I know that. Yeah, I mean, so guys, moral of the story, unless we're in CCJ, we got to identify the right stocks to be in that are going to outperform CCJ, or at least we can also look at the ratio versus URA to see, okay, what's broadly outperforming URA. But man, if we really want to maximize, I think the CCJ ratio is super, super important to look at. So I'll keep an eye on it for you guys. Again, I'm going to be tracking this bull market for as long as I'm behind a computer here. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.